sometimes come to accept that my stash is messy and I have spillage around me, and I want to start a new project, but I get this uncomfortable feeling from time to time that I need to have a bit of a sort out, check what's what, and just like tidy organisation means that my mind might be just a little bit tidier too. So we're going to clean up some of this mess and see what is needed and if it's time to move anything on. Let's find out. I think the logical place to start is this top shelf because it is quite organised. On the top shelf, it's got some of my most expensive fibres. It's got some Croft yarn in there. I can't even remember the weight of it, to be honest. I don't even know why I bought it. Oh, I know why I bought it. It's West Yorkshire Spinners. Look, I've got the little ball band in there. And I've got it to go with this black that, again, forgotten I got. And in fact, oh my God, this morning I was thinking I'd like to make, you know, my spider shawl? I'll insert it. Thinking I'd like to make it in the black and a fuchsia pink. I've got the yarns there. Oh my God. And then I've got this blue back here that I bought to make a tank top, which again, it was really expensive, but I don't think I'm going to make that. So I need to have a look at the pattern. So I'm just going to have a quick tidy up of this top shelf and see, well, just see what's what. Back to that in a minute, but what I've done is I've just removed all of these. These are cones that I've picked up over time, like at the beginning of my knitting journey, and I've never really got to them other than that pink there, which I used in my shawl. But I still got a lot left, and I remember getting that with the orange and this pink here and that one just there, thinking I would do something with them. Oh, let me just let that focus. And I might still do that, but these browns, I haven't used them, and I don't know why I haven't used them, so I might just leave them out just for a minute while I just reorganise this top shelf. Now what I've got left on the top shelf, these two absolutely massive cones. I mean, these are whopping, and these are beautiful colours, you know, really nice mild, but they're very, very fine, so they need to be held with something, or I could cake them into, say, 100-gram balls and then hold them like 3-4 at a time, and that would give me somewhere close to getting towards DK weight then. And then between all of this, I've got probably a couple of sweaters worth, to be honest with you. So something to think about there for me. Then I've got these two pinks left over that I mentioned, the West Yorkshire Spinners, to go with the black. And I've got 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 5 of the black and 2 of the pink. So that's definitely a sweater for me to think about, or another shawl. I don't know. But a lot of value, definitely a sweater, so something to consider. There's quite a lot of alpaca in here in this beautiful navy colour, soft alpaca by Rico. And I've got all this. It's part of a project that I am currently working on. So within a couple of weeks, that will all have gone. And then that'll be 6 more small sort of balls out of the way. Not that I want to think of it being out the way, but you know what I mean, free space on the shelf. Then this was the mohair tweed, and I've got a lot of this. I've got 2, 4, 6, 7 of these. They're 70% merino, 30% mohair. And like I say, it was to make a tank top, but I'm not sure I'm going to make the pattern I got. In fact, let me just see if I can find it. That was it, the Piccadilly tank top, DK weight yarn, but it's all over cables, which I'm fine with, but I think that when I've gone back to look at it, I've looked at this area here, and I don't know, it looks a little bit lettucey to me, and I've become less keen on it. I'm really sorry, Pearl and Jane. Still love the yarn though, and it's definitely got a place in here. I'm definitely going to do something with it, I just don't know when. This yarn here, I'll pull it out in just a minute, but I got this, it was maybe 15 months ago now, maybe even more than that in fact, and it was with a pattern in mind. It's the West Yorkshire Spinners fleece yarn, and I bought the fleece book by them at the same time, and I wanted to make this. I really wanted to make an all over cable sweater, quite a considered make. Let me pull this out so you can see. It's much more sort of a bottle green, very traditional in colour. Absolutely gorgeous it is, and I was so pleased when I bought it all. I cast it on and I knit up to, I don't know, about here, before I took a step back and realised I'd just done a whole load of it wrong. I was a bit gutted and I felt like it was probably beyond me, so I pulled it down. But I think I feel ready for it again now, to be honest. You know, a lot of time's passed, so it's still my plan to make that with that yarn. Haha! These little bad boys, they're just little oddments, and they are from, it's their by Laxton's yarn, from the String of Dolls sweater that I made, and then with the leftovers I have made a hat. And since making the hat, I've still got that left over. That's going to stay on this shelf because in terms of price wise, I know it's expensive, and this is kind of where the money's at. Further adding to the shelf, I've brought in this green that's just laying around, but that green goes with the blue project. Now when I bought those, I also bought this one as well to do a different colourway, and I've changed my mind and I've parked that one, so that now hasn't got a job. So I might take it off the shelf, there we go, for now, while I carry on taking a bit of a sort through. I've also got a ball of white to go on there as well, must do that. That shelf has now got that white ball in there as well, so now it's time to think about this second shelf. So I'm going to take the baskets off first, tidy up the patterns and make sense of those, make sure there's no rubbish in there. So what came out of that was actually quite useful, surprisingly enough. So obviously they're all tied up, which is fine, and I have got some books down there to give away to my knitting ladies if they want it. But there's a few things happen. One, and you might think they're only little things, but you know, whatever. This pattern here was printed off, dirty, doesn't matter, but about to knit this. I'm just waiting for my yarn to arrive from Denmark, but I'm going to be knitting this, and I was all ready for printing it off again. So I've saved the planet. Well, a tiny little bit of it. Second thing I've learned, too, this shawl here, I'm desperate to knit it. I cannot wait to knit it. Here's the pattern. I've got the yarn, but where is the yarn? So I'm going to find the yarn and get that into the front of my head again. Talking about Verdi, I also have this pattern here, Allegro, with all the yarn in here. That's in a project bag. So again, just reminding myself, although I always intentionally knew that wouldn't be until the spring. And lastly, I've reminded myself that I've still got all of these Highland Heather. So I've got 4 of this colour. Let me bring them up here. I'm working in the dark, sorry. So I've got 4 of that colour, 1 in that colour, and 1 in that colour. Really nice. It's all acrylic yarn. I've had it for such a long time now. I'm not using it. I think that's a strong contender for destash. And I've just remembered I had another bag outside. Come back in, and straight away I found that bag. So I'm going to put that shawl pattern now up on the top shelf with the other project bag. Kind of makes sense. So if you can hear surrounding noise, the kids are home. But it's time to take on these big baskets. Now there is some kind of order in these baskets, believe it or not. I just have to remember what they were. I think we're on sort of types of fabric, but again, I bought some of these yarns when I was making a particular hat. I was teaching it, and it was great for teaching, don't get me wrong, but I don't want this hat for me. So I'm now wondering, why did I buy it? Because I don't actually like knitting the chunky yarns. It's quite hard on the hands when you're using sort of a 10, 12, 15 millimeter size needle. So I'm going to go through these, and again I'm going to be harsh on myself and question, do I really need them? Let me show you a picture of that hat though. So this is it. It's a lovely book actually, great to teach from, JOMO, The Joy of Missing Out. And look, you can even see there, that hat there, how close it is to that kind of one there. Although that might be chunkier. But the hat, there are some nice things in here. There's some lovely socks. I mean, look at these. Where are they? Go back a page, Luce. Come on, it's not that hard. There we go. Aren't they nice? They are lovely. They are for the chunkier knits. You've got jumpers in here, big coats, all different types of makes really. It's just, I don't wear chunky clothing, so no good for me. Where's that hat? It's right at the front, isn't it? They look lovely. don't get me wrong. That's quite nice. But again, I wouldn't wear it. So what is the point? Yeah, there you go. There's the hat. It's like a beachy, a beanie. It's a beanie hat. Fairy lights it's called. So I made it a few times now. So yeah, I might even let this book go, to be honest, because I'm not. I mean, that's lovely, but I'm not going to make it. I know I'm not. Out now, and they actually look beautiful together, so you could do something quite nice, even if you wanted to just make a blanket and stripe it or whatever. I think that'd look actually quite nice in the blues and the different depths of purples, pinks, lilacs, and then this mottled. I think it looked really cracking, to be fair. I've got this pile of patterns as well that all call for the chunkies. Saw myself wearing that the other day in an old video, and I'm like, right, that's it, that's going in the bin, doesn't suit me. Have got that cardigan. Do still wear it very occasionally. I never plan on making it again. No problems with the pattern. I just won't make it again. And then all of this is for chunkies. And there's loads of patterns in here, actually. It's like a whole book. But I'm not going to make it, and I know I'm not. So that these are all going to go as well. So that is all going on my destash pile. This second basket is a bit of a nightmare, and I don't really know how to go about it. So so all that's over there. I know what I'm doing there. Then I got these bits out. This is my remaining Malabrigo raster, but it's the really narrow 4-ply, special to me. So I'm going to keep that nice and safe, probably up on that top shelf. I then got this, which is just absolutely stunning, and I imagine this being worked into maybe a black object, so those colours sort of come through as a bit of colour work. It's gorgeous. I can't remember anything about it though. Symphony Viva. Oh, it's a Knit Pro DK. So remember that black up there that I was telling you about? This would go with it really nicely. So I'm going to put that on the top shelf. And then there was this one. Again, I don't know what it is, but it's been hanged. So I know it's going to be beautiful, whatever it is. I can't remember. And then to sort this. Let low peas. Ha! And I go, ha! It's because you will never understand the joy when I found these. I think they're in a charity shop or somewhere. But they're let low pea. It's kind of hard for me to get hold of in England. It's Icelandic yarn. It's rough. It's coarse. It doesn't feel nice, but it is the warmest. And it's so warm because it's coming from the animals in Iceland, and it's freezing there, so they are bred, and their furs are so tough. I mean, look at these. They're so tightly wound, and they're beautiful, and they're hard, so they're really, I don't know, I can just see how it translates. I'm not explaining, I'm just giving you lots of ha's words. I'm going to do something really nice with these tiny balls at some point. I just have no idea what. They're special. They're going on the top shelf. What I've understood now from this basket is that it's all DK weight yarns. This one, do you know, it's funny because I don't actually love it, but I know that it's a good yarn. It's woollyKnit.com, and they're really good yarns. So I'm going to keep hold of it, but I don't know what for. This, again, this was a hand-dyed that I made some beautiful socks from, and it's just like a little leftover bit. So I'm going to keep that in there because I'm probably going to find I've got lots of bits for socks. And you never know, that could be a heel toe gusset at some point. So I will keep it. It's going in. I mentioned about this yarn being leftovers from the friendship hat. This was the other remnant, but I have made one mitt already, really lovely and warm, and I'm just currently making the second one, so that just needs finishing off. Although I'm sat on the floor, you can see already we've got a bit more order now. This drawer I can confidently open. These are my cottons. This is to make probably the Friday tee again, or little cotton striped vest, I think. This drawer, am I confident? Yeah, just some little project bags in here. Nothing much going on, so that's fine. We can close that away. So now we've got to take on the horrible bit, actually. So let's get some of these bags out and check what's going on. So I've pulled a couple of bags out, and straight away I've learnt a few things. First off, I have more sock yarn, so that'll go up into that basket just up there that I've just put away. So that's got a home, easy. Then I found this bag. Now, all this fable here, in fact, let me tip it out. I bought all of this to make my shawl, the one that I've just made. Well, actually, it was to make a different one, and then I started making it. It's like, you know what? I don't like it, so I changed it to Lazy Cat. No, not Lazy Cat. Oh dear me, love of spiders. I bought different shades of blues, so that goes with that one. And these are 2 singles, and then I've got this grey, but they all go together. So there is more than enough to do another shawl at some point, or dog coming through, or I could knit socks because it does say it's for socks, or I could destash. It is, what's the content of it? It's the drops again. 75% wool. So yeah, I need to be careful, but I mean, I do love this shawl. It's whether I'd knit one in my near future or not. But ultimately it's for socks, so I'm going to put it with the socks in the basket. That's what I'm going to do. My next big predicament was what's in this bag, actually, because I've got a knitting project in it that I started ages ago, and it's giving me no joy. The thing that irritates me though is this yarn that's in it. I bought it a while ago. It's that Stylecraft Recreate, and I've pulled it down on a different project as well. So I'm starting to get a little bit doubtful, I don't know, in my choices. Am I choosing the wrong pattern? Is it the yarn? It's 40% wool, 30% acrylic, 30% polyester. It's DK weight again. But I don't know why every time I'm knitting something, I'm not happy with it. Let me show you. Annoyingly, I've laid it out, and I thought, my very first initial thoughts were, I actually quite like that. But it's too late because I pulled off the needles. I must have done it at some point when it's like, oh, you need a size 4 needle. Oh, that'll do, and I just pulled it out. So it's coming down. I am going to take it down. It's got this like really sort of heathered look to it, which is quite nice. Loads of texture. Got 3 balls of it, so 300 grams. I'm not ready to get rid of it. I'm ready to still find the right pattern for it. So I think it can sit in stash just a little bit longer. This is what I was aiming for though. That cardigan. I don't even know that I like it anymore. I don't know. So now I need to face the fact that I've had these 9 balls for maybe 2 years, and I don't know if that's shameful or not. I still like it, to be fair. It's a Batik Elements. It's a DK weight from Stylecraft. These are 80% acrylic, 20% wool. I'd imagine they're 138 metres, yeah, 50 gram balls. And I did do just a tiny little swatch just to see how they come out. And the colours are really quite pretty. So why do they sit here? If I make a jumper, I know I'm not going to wear it. I don't know why, I just know I won't. And I don't know what else to make with it. I don't know what I would mix with it. I don't know what it is. I like it. I don't know whether I like it for me. So do I keep it? Similarly, over here, I've got a big pile of this. And it's Finesse King Cole Cotton Silk DK. And a few years ago, I made a top in this, in a different colour, in a minty colour. And it's beautiful. Oh my word, it drapes absolutely beautifully. Didn't really enjoy knitting with it, I have to say. And it took me ages. I'm more inclined to keep the white of this than I am this. So I think I'm going to take the plunge and put that into destash. That's what I'm going to do. I almost feel like I've gone back too far now. Feeling a bit, I don't know, eerie. If you're wondering what this cabinet is, by the way, it's actually a drinks cabinet, but I bought it with this purely in mind. I used to have all my needles sort of lined out on here, but then I've moved to you know, shorties and circulars. So I tend to rest my bags on there now. So I need to sort out some of that junk there, but I've got a basket hiding under here. I kind of know what's in here already. It's not too bad at all, but it's where I keep all of my sort of fluff fibres when you just want to add a strand with something. I got into these when I made the Whispering Clouds Colorex sweater, and you had to have lots of colours in that. So they will stay exactly there because they're protected and they're fine. But I've got 4 of these. They're like licorice all sorts, aren't they? And I come back to that same old problem again, where I know exactly why they're here now. Now I've done my destash. It's because they are all chunky. I'm trying to see where it actually says chunky. I'm sure it does. Hang fire. Oh, got an itch. Where does it say? Adriaphil. Super chunky. It's super chunky. So I have 4 of these, and I'll have to work out what to do with these, because yeah, that's quite a bit of money just to get rid of for not much money, because obviously in a destash you wouldn't ask for much. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Because they don't take up much room, I'm going to leave them there for now and just put everything back. It's absolutely fine as it is. So that's all looking tidier in there. Nothing really exciting to report. Just got these few last bits to put away. These 2 here, they are for a sample that I'm currently working on, so I don't think they'll be hanging around very long. That goes with the drops yarn that I said that I'd made my sweater that I'd shrunk, so I'll put that with that, which then just leaves me with this drops air and this drops lace. I'm going to put that, in fact I'm going to do it now, I'm going to put that with this because it's similar. It's like very airy, fluffy kind of stuff. It bounces a lot. I'm going to put that with the other soft alpacas because it kind of makes sense to do that. And then I've got this drops lace. If I'm honest, I'm not sure what to do with it. Let me just circle back to that in a minute. When I saw this then, I thought, oh, do you know what? I don't think I had one of these. I think I had 2. And sure enough, in here, there is another unfinished project. Let me tip it out. Oh my. This is so close to being finished. It's ridiculous. I might even set myself a challenge to finish it. So there's the other bit that I got left over. It's gone a long way. And this is part of the dumpling bag, excuse the wires, the dumpling bag that I was making. It's like a little knot bag. All I have to do is seam the bottom, pick up some stitches over there to make another strap, and it's done. That's it. And I held this double with this, and this is yarn from, I forgot what they're called. Oh, hopefully it'll come to me. But this is hand reared and sheared in Caister, Lincolnshire, near where I live. So this is 100% wool, really nice, held together with some silk, and it made the most irregular stitching in this, which I thought was beautiful, really nice. So that actually goes quite a long way. So yeah, whew. So there we are. I did it. I feel like I've got from having tons of yarn to having very little yarn. It makes me feel very uncomfortable, but I still know that I can do loads with what I've got. The Stitch Witch bag is full of yarn. I've already mentioned it's got a whole project in there. All of that is just acrylic style craft for a crochet project to happen. Those are just project bags, a haberdashery, knitting needles, that kind of stuff. In that bag there, it's just full of fibre to be spun. Books nicely arranged. We've got my cottons in there just to stay clean. A little bit of habby there. All of my DK's sock yarns in there. The silk fibres, the recycled yarn, and then the chenille that I'm going to be doing my imigurumi with is in there. Sweaters with the black, 2 project bags, scarf and a top. I know what they are and I know when I'm doing them. I know that these are my let lopies for something quite special but small at some point. Special remnants just here. Project I'm currently working on, so that won't be there for too much longer. This, which you can barely see because it's so dark, is my cross yarn. No, it's not. I keep saying that. It's West Yorkshire Spinners. DK for me to make a lovely jumper at some point. My mohair tweed, still don't know what I'm going to do with it. Too expensive to get rid of. Still like it. And then my bottle green, still for that Aran knit that I know I'm going to do. So, clear plan, very focused. Oh, and that, by the way, is my beautiful taller bag with my project in. So that connects with that. Haha. So let's see what I'm getting rid of. So I've made a big decision that all of the cones can go to a new home. I've had them for a long time. They take up a lot of room, and they're never my first thought to go to, albeit some of them are very beautiful. I mean, for instance, this one, absolutely stunning. It's gorgeous, and I have used it before. But I don't get to them, so they're going to go. This little bit here, I was given it as part of the spinning stuff. Really nice as textural bits. Beautiful, beautiful fleece there. I'm going to give that to Pippa for her textile work. Then got that chunky bundle I mentioned to you. Some random rubbish. I'm going to look for a new home for this knit project. And then we've got all of that to go. And then the tweeds here, the heathers, and then there's a little project here that I'm probably going to move on to. So that's an awful lot to go. I am very proud of me.